The first Grand Prix of the new season and Formula One's exciting new era is tantalisingly close. And now the teams head to Bahrain for the official pre-season test. It's the last chance they'll have to get to grips with their new machines before the lights go out and the racing action kicks off, just a week after the 3-day test concludes. So what should you be keeping an eye out for when the cars hit the track in Sakir? The Haas VF22 may have some new parts on it, but the biggest change will be behind the wheel. A familiar face will return to the team, with Kevin Magnussen set for a reunion with team boss Günther Steiner after the pre-season departure of Nikita Mazepin. Magnussen left Haas at the end of the 2020 season after a 4-year spell with the squad, which delivered plenty of points finishes for the Danish driver. He left to race in America, but the lure of Formula One has proved too strong to resist, and he'll be back on the grid this year at the start of an exciting new era. It makes perfect sense for the American outfit too. With a brand new car to develop, having an experienced driver and familiar face on board alongside Mick Schumacher could make all the difference when it comes to getting the most out of the package. Porpoising was the word of the week at the pre-season track session in Barcelona, where the all-new cars were seen bouncing up and down on the main straight. The phenomenon is a result of the new ground effect aerodynamics, which suck the car to the track, only for the downforce to stall when the floor bottoms out on the track surface and it springs back up again. F1 engineers were aware it might be an issue, but as it's impossible to test in a wind tunnel, they all had to wait until they got their cars on track to see how bad it would be. It's easy to eliminate the issue simply by raising a car's ride height, but that comes with a high price of its own in terms of loss of performance. So designers and engineers will have been busy since packing up in Barcelona, working out how to stop it happening without compromising speed. Expect to see some new development parts this week in Bahrain as the teams race to get on top of the problem. New Mercedes driver George Russell picked out Ferrari and McLaren as both having made major steps forward with their new cars. Thanks to the new regulations, Ferrari's disappointing 6th place finish in 2020 meant they were allowed more wind tunnel time than the other top teams. And judging by their performance in Barcelona, it appears they've used it well. They had 3 days of uninterrupted running with no reliability problems and topped the mileage charts with a whopping 439 laps completed. Crucially, the new F175 looked quick, with trackside observers impressed with how balanced and stable the car looked through Barcelona's high-speed turns.
We've done all the tests that we wanted to do, which was the most important thing, and we did without major problems. It is a positive first test for this, and in terms of performance, nothing to say for now.
Meanwhile, McLaren made a big statement on the first day of running when Lando Norris topped the timesheets, just ahead of Ferrari duo Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. And though the Englishman played down his eye-catching pace, both he and teammate Daniel Ricciardo were immediately comfortable in the new MCL 36 and also completed a trouble-free program that showed real promise.
I didn't want to be P1. If anything, I would rather be last, because now that expectations are so high and everyone thinks we're incredible. But no, I think we just did a slightly different run plan to the other people. I think we'll see in the next few days. People probably go much quicker than what I did.
Both these once mighty teams have dropped back into the midfield in recent years. But in Barcelona, we saw a hint that they're continuing their recent run of improvement. And in Bahrain, we'll find out whether they can build on that promising start and make the leap forward from heading the midfield to being right at the front. It's a testament to all the designers and engineers up and down the pit lane that we saw such impressive reliability in Barcelona. With totally revised regulations for this year, meaning the cars were entirely new from the tyres up, it was incredible to see all but 2 teams complete more than 100 laps on the first day in Spain, as they unleashed their new challenges for the first time. But it wasn't all plain sailing, with Haas struggling for mileage as they battled issues on their new car, leaving them with a total of just 160 laps completed across the 3 days. Team boss Günther Steiner described the first day as clumsy after the team suffered engine-related issues and a damaged floor, while they managed just 9 laps on day 3, a frustrating showing from a team that had effectively sacrificed their last 2 seasons to focus all their efforts on the technical reset offered by these new regulations. Alfa Romeo also had troubles, suffering more than any other team with the porpoising effect, and technical director Jan Monchaux admitting they'd been a bit taken aback by the issue. The new C42 was also hampered by a series of other niggles, forcing new lead driver Valtteri Bottas and F1 rookie Zhou Guanyu to spend more time in the garage than they would have liked, the team eventually managing just 15 more laps than Haas across the 3 days. Alpine had perhaps the most spectacular failure of all when Fernando Alonso's A522 came to a smoking halt out on track on the final day, bringing an early finish to what had been a tricky 3 days for the Anglo-French squad. Alonso's engine issue aside, they were only 8th in the mileage charts and were forced to run without DRS throughout the 3 days as a precaution, leaving them somewhat on the back foot as new team boss Otmar Szafnauer gets his feet under the desk at Enstone. Some niggles are to be expected when running brand new cars for the very first time, but the fact that some of their rivals were quick and reliable straight out of the box in Barcelona means Haas, Alfa Romeo and Alpine all have plenty of work to do if they're to catch up. All 3 teams say they're confident they'll solve the issues that plagued them in Barcelona before running starts in Bahrain. But we'll only find out if they're right when the track opens for business on Thursday morning. The on-track racing doesn't get underway until the lights go out to start the Bahrain Grand Prix on the 20th of March. But make no mistake, the development race is already being fiercely fought out by every engineer in Formula One, as they battle to extract every ounce of performance from their new cars and get a head start on their rivals. In Barcelona, we saw the all-new challengers for the first time, and the difference in design philosophies adopted by the teams was striking. There will be more innovation on show in Bahrain, as they all rush to get new parts designed and built, especially as now they have some real-world data to correlate with their wind tunnel and computer simulations. Red Bull's distinctive side pod design, which features an ultra-aggressive undercut at the front, was one variation which caught the eye in Barcelona, with Mercedes tech chief Mike Elliott admitting the Silver Arrows would be taking a very close look at it as they hone their own car. Indeed, paddock insiders are expecting both Red Bull and Mercedes to be among the teams bringing significant upgrade packages to Bahrain as they continue their development program, while every team will have been working around the clock to improve their cars since the extended shakedown in Spain. All eyes will be on the cars when the pit lane opens on Thursday morning to begin what promises to be one of the most fascinating tests in F1 history. You can follow it all and keep right up to date with all the latest news and analysis from all 3 days in Bahrain on F1.com and watch all the action live from dawn until dusk on F1 TV.